Your bid 16.
Oh, those poor people have been sitting here all day.
Yes.
Yes.
Poor Jill, she's been sitting here
Right.
all day.
Good
Someone
item.
bring up the recommendation, please.
Because we're over here. We're over here.
I know, I agree with you.
Where is it?
If
Okay.
If we had a council chamber in the.
Order, please. This is councillors to deal with the issue of the charging fee. I'm going to get rid of B.
Sweet.
It's not worth the discussion or argument anymore.
I'll second.
You don't need
I'll
to
agree
second
with that.
anything. It's just happening.
Yeah, I'll second.
You don't have to.
Right, we have option 3, which has been the subject of considerable discussion, debate, refinement et al. And I'm hopeful that we'll be able to move from this point, obviously with a bit more work to do.
Option 3.
Hang on, Wayne. Dr. Roger.
Thank you, Your Worship. Well, just to focus on the recommendation for option 3, which is A. We are recommending this because we think it's the best option for 2 reasons. One, it meets what the bids are most concerned about, which is the ability to provide essential services, which include administering at a targeted rate and providing advice on governance and accountability. So it meets that objective. And the other one is it provides staff savings, so it allows us to deliver savings of $462,000 a year, and that's by reducing our staff numbers from 8 to 5. And we think we can do that without dropping our service levels by shifting to online provision of information for businesses so they don't have to be talking to a staff member, they can get it off the website, so that would allow us to maintain service standards. So if you were to adopt A and C, the effect of that would be is that
No,
you'd...
it's now A and B.
A and B.
Have a look at the screen. Have a look at the screen, Roger.
Sorry. If you were to adopt A and B, the effect of that would be that you would make savings of $462,000 per annum.
Very good, and with a model that we think can work more efficiently, but where we recognise there is yet more work to do. Jill, what do you think?
Through you, Mr. Your Worship.
Yep.
I'm obviously very keen on this model. I've been talking to people as it's a kind of a bob each way model. It allows us to do the essential services that we've had strong
And it's
feedback.
more the Goldilocks model.
It's a little bit like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Essential services, plus if somebody has a problem, we can provide a as-needed service.
Yep.
Not all of our bids need us all the time. We can start to get into the partnership space. That we know that some of the external service providers are keen to start developing relationships with us, and we can also start to become more effective by putting stuff online and using technology more than we're using at the moment.
Very good. Jill, that sounds positive.
Yep.
Anyone? Councillor Denise and then Councillor Arthur and then Councillor John.
I'll just be very brief, it is getting late in the day, but the golden words are it's an as-needed service, and we know that different bids have different levels of needs, and have found also very much look forward to the review because different bids have had different interactions with our staff. So we need to be cognisant of what they're saying and back them 100%. Good to see the original B gone in terms of the admin fee, and Councillor Brewer has been very very good in his advocacy and workshops leading to this point. And then I'd also like to point out and thank in the room is Janine from North Harbour and Amanda from Onehunga, who've been here for several hours, if not many hours.
Outstanding.
So good for them for coming up to represent many bids who are pretty much saying the same thing, and will be very relieved to see that.
Can you two stand up?
Good idea.
Give them a round of applause. You beauties. You've even outlasted some of the media. Top job. There you go. Thank you. I've got Councillor Arthur.
Thank you, Mr. Guest. I'm also grateful that B's been removed. I mean, just the background to the bids things, I think some of us may tend to forget, the fact that the bids do a huge amount of work within the town centres on behalf of us as council. A huge amount of work. and for them to have, we're going to have to pay for those services, just didn't make sense. So I'm very glad that that's been removed. In actual fact, I was backing the status quo. I was going to say what we really needed for bids is a hotline for them to call when they do have something happening. I'd like to see them get more freedom to do their own negotiation, how to make things happen out there, because I believe they can actually do that cheaper in some of the ways they do things. So it's giving them that freedom to do that, but the hotline, when things are happening within the town centres, that council's involved, they need to get someone and get an answer very quickly to resolve it. And I don't think that's been happening on some occasions, but it needs to be said. And so I'm very supportive of what we're doing with bids as a very important part of what this council does. For those available on the 20th May, when the Economic Development Committee's on, I've asked for 2 bids to come and just tell us what they're doing, what they're achieving, so that we all understand the situation. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor John Watson.
Oh, no, just really, Arthur said it, just acknowledging the wisdom and not alienating groups that do so much for the community and the benefit that we get out of. So, well done removing that charge.
Thank you. Councillor Alf.
Worship, this was raised in August. I raised this in August at our first workshop, and I just really wanted to thank Cameron for his advocacy. But also, Worship, I just want to wave out to Rochette at the Otahuhu Main Street, and she's been watching this in the Business Association since this started. So I just wanted to acknowledge, and I'm glad common sense prevailed. Thank you, Your Worship.
We like the prevailing of common sense in this
Oh,
room.
they are. They just
Councillor
text me the way you-
PNW.
Yes, the only concern I've got is where it says greater consistency of service provision across the region. We are going to allow bids to do their own thing. I mean, I agree with Arthur, some of them can do things a lot easier and cheaper without us getting involved. So, as you know, Jill, and thank you very much for the sterling work you've been doing. We just have to be open to design what communities want, don't we?
I hear you.
Thank you.
Okay, Roger, thank you. Jill, well done. And John, it's good to see you here, mate, and keep up the good work, eh? Outstanding stuff.
Thank you. Well done, Al.
All right, so I'll put the 2 recommendations. All those in favour say aye. 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 I think that was me and Councillor Arthur.
You could go
Right,
home.
thank you very much.
Oh, okay, then.
Whatever.
That's all.
Yeah, well, I did read it and thought, oh, yeah.
Okay, we have just a very procedural item 17, other policies note. I'll move that. Is there a seconder?
Yep.
Councillor Ross. You'll see there's nothing in there. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
It's passed. Long-term, item 18, performance measures. I know you've all been through these with a fine-tooth comb. I'll move those. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Ross again. Is there any comments about our policies, our blah blahs? Right, I'll move that. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
It's passed. Councillors and members, that brings us to the conclusion of the budget. I just have a couple of thanks before our partners from the IMSB head off for dinner or otherwise. I first of all just want to acknowledge my colleague here on my right hand side, Teresa. I invariably forget to acknowledge her through these processes, but you can imagine that she in my office has worked some very, very long hours, and I know how much she sweats over these processes. So can you please acknowledge her separately? To Matthew and the team. Mate, just really, really stunning work, and you know, it has been a mammoth. I don't think this council ever in the next 100, 150 years will go through the process that we've been through in setting the first real LTP. And I know that there's yet another meeting to go, but boy oh boy, stunning work, and we really appreciate the team and their efforts. So can we acknowledge Matthew and the whole staff, please? And some personal acknowledgement along the front here. We've got Barbara, who's been doing the typing all day, and man, oh man, she can type. And I want to acknowledge Mike and beside, who sort of manages the business of it. So, so draws us to the end of the budget committee, and we'll have a break for 5 minutes and then step into the GB. Cheers.
Just a query, when did we adopt the Comet one?
A long
Or
time
did I
ago.
miss it?
Yesterday was the first one.
Oh, I just wondered whether I
Do
missed
you want to
it.
increase the funding? I'll second it.
No. What time is it yesterday?